You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Bonjour, Français, and welcome to another exciting episode of this is your weekly X-Men podcast. We are a store from AZ.
I'm Adam.
Damzak, da. I don't know why I went with a da. That's a Colossus thing.
You're gonna try and do the Cajun thing for?
No, I'm
for a
not.
bit
See,
here?
the problem is, Adam, are you familiar with the one TikTok-y video about the guy saying that he could throw Timothy Chalamet out in 3 pitches?
I think so. Remind me and our audience.
It's a video of a guy in a Cincinnati Reds jersey who says he's going to throw Timothy Chalamet out in 3 pitches.
But is he throwing Timmy or is he throwing?
No, he's
balls?
throwing baseballs at Timmy. Timothy Chalamet is going to be at bat in Great American Ballpark, and comedian Will Sennett is going to throw pitches at him.
Okay, because Timmy's, he's a slender fella.
He's a dainty boy.
I didn't know if somebody was balling him up and throwing.
Timothy Chalamet was once on College Game Day talking ball, and I'm sorry, there's no one who I believe knows ball less than Timothy Chalamet. Number one, his name's Timothy Chalamet.
Mm-hmm.
It is so hard to know ball when you have an accent.
Yeah.
Over any part of your name.
I'm just saying, I watched Marty Supreme. It looked like he was playing that ping pong. So
I don't know what Marty Supreme is, and no one is going to explain it to me.
Best Picture nominee, Marty Supreme.
It's going to lose to the movie that has blues legend Buddy Guy in it in a cameo appearance that is better than every cameo appearance in every Marvel movie ever, specifically for me.
I'm interested to see if Sinners does win over One Battle After Another.
I've watched One Battle After Another recently. I think Sinners was a better movie by a substantial margin.
I feel like One Battle was just a better flick just by a little bit, but more just Sinners is still just right up there. They're they're neck and neck.
Here's the thing about Sinners. Sinners is a crowd pleaser on top of everything. It's all this, and also it's a movie that you could just put on. One Battle After Another is my wife would not watch One Battle After Another. My wife would watch Sinners. And I think that is an underrated thing of, did you make something that is universal? Now, I also think award shows are dumb and bad.
I was going to say, I don't know if you've paid attention to the Oscars, but they don't exactly give the Best Picture award to movies that everybody watches.
I don't. Most movies because most movies that everybody watches is bad. They're right to do that 99% of the time. Yeah. But if you can make a good one that everyone likes.
Why did we start talking about this?
Because Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, Chalamet, yes. Sorry.
Was thrown out by this guy. Anyway.
Where were we going with that?
I was getting there. He has another video because I saved a lot of his TikToks onto my phone for when I have bad days.
Yeah.
True, and one of his videos is about a old shrimp boat captain down in Louisiana. And the shrimp boat captain has a foot fetish.
Oh my God.
And that's all I can think of about Gambit now. Is this gross old shrimp boat captain, yeah? He gonna play those toes like a harmonica.
Man, it'd be great if Gambit played the harmonica. Why doesn't he play the harmonica?
I bet Gambit. If anyone drew Gambit leaning up against a corner playing a harmonica,
I'd believe it.
It would be instantly recognizable as Gambit. I would say, it's like Adam X the Extreme in a skateboard. I'm like, yes, that's a thing he has, right?
Yeah, he never actually rode a skateboard.
Not even once.
Yeah, but he should.
Folks, it's an appropriate vibe.
We are talking about Gambit this week.
We're talking about Ultimate Gambit this week.
Ultimate Gambit. We'll decide if he's actually ultimate.
What is ultimate? What is is he the pinnacle of all Gambits? Is he?
Well, he's not Red Sun, so we know that.
Yeah.
You know, so he's not the ultimate of Gambits.
The Gambit who gambited too hard.
Yeah. Hey, why are we talking about Ultimate Gambit?
That's a great question. Because the show's gone on for 8 years and we've lost control of our lives. No, we're talking about Ultimate Gambit. Thanks to Patreon supporter Michael Dunphy. If you want to be like Michael Dunphy, you can go over to patreon.com/Battle of the Atom. Reach deep down into your hearts and pocketbooks. Toss a couple of coins into our coffers as if we were playing the harmonica on a street corner in New Orleans.
Practically John Popper, who's I believe is from New Jersey. Never mind.
Very different places. The French don't seem to have had much of a presence in New Jersey to begin with, largely because it's called New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Too far north.
Not Nuevo, or I guess, I don't know, actually. I don't know enough.
I don't know French.
No. I was going to say Nuevo.
That sounds Spanish.
Yeah, but that's different. Nuevo Paris.
Yeah, but we should talk about like what makes an ultimate character an ultimate character, because I think as we talk about these, you could make the argument that this version of Gambit, Remy LeBeau, is just Gambit. Like it's just Gambit. No. He's just homeless. He's homeless Gambit.
Here's the thing about the Ultimate Universe, and I'm specifically talking about the 2000 era Ultimate Universe, spearheaded largely by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Miller. And it was supposed to be not a reimagining of characters, but a distillation of those characters updated for our modern era.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people would say that the Ultimate Universe of that time kind of got off the rails when they stopped doing that and started doing what's a weird what if I could do with this character now.
Well,
I think Gambit falls into the first category of.
I would argue it was off the rails from the start for the most part outside of Ultimate Spider-Man, because really the quote unquote reimagining of the Avengers and the X-Men is just, what if they were all the biggest a-holes who ever existed in the history of time?
Brother.
None of the Ultimate characters are likable at all. Brother. X-Men, Avengers, anybody except for the new version of Spider-Man.
Who was the most popular? What were some of the most popular musical artists of this time?
Oh boy.
Think about what you're saying. Think about how many Ultimate characters have a Limp Bizkit attitude. How many of them are nu metal devotees?
Was nu metal even still around? Like, hadn't nu metal died by 2001?
No. It was. They were still wrong with the bong, the bang, bang, diggity, big, whoop, drop, the biggie.
People are still like freaks on a leash at this point. I thought that had died.
Bud, haven't you watched Super Bowl halftime shows? My understanding is people are still into nu metal.
I don't think that's really pushing the definition of the genre to begin with, and I don't think anybody actually watched that.
I think no one did, though. I would say that Kid Rock would be, even if not of the same genre, of the same attitude, and maybe slot into Kid Rock. Absolutely,
rap rock is a little different than nu metal, isn't it? Like, it's a thin line.
Yes, and math rock is different than Midwest emo is different than progressive metalcore is different than all the. We can argue till the cows come home about rock music genres. I'm saying it moves like a cow. It smells like a cow. It goes out to the pasture all the same.
So your explanation for why all the characters in these books are terrible, awful, unenjoyable people is basically because of Fred Durst?
What I'm trying to imply is that in the early 2000s, at the turn of the millennium, there was a certain amount of attitude that was going into this. It was, in fact, the attitude era of wrestling. Like, all of that tone is informing specifically who are your masculine characters and what are they like. Like, I don't think that the intention was like, how do we make them jerks? The intention was, what is cool right now?
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful distillation of that. I also think that there is some level in Ultimates of trying to skewer things politically, even if I would say it's generally unsuccessful at that and maybe not as smart as some people want to give it credit for.
Oh, 100%. And to be fair,
it's smarter and dumber than people give it credit for, which is an amazing feat.
Yeah. To be fair, I think we can get into this a little bit more with the second story that we're talking about, because that has more X-Men in it. This first story is actually 2 issues of Ultimate X-Men written by none other than Chuck Austin and drawn by none other than Asad Ribic, inked by John Livesay. This is just Ultimate X-Men 13 and 14. This is just Gambit.
It's called You Always Remember Your First Love.
And boy, I will say, these might be 2 of the better issues that Chuck Austin ever wrote of X-Men.
Here's the thing. So Ultimate X-Men starts with 2 blockbuster arcs.
Yes.
It starts with the introduction of the team, which has Magneto stripping George W. Bush naked on the White House lawn, and like a lot of big action movie stuff happening. And then the second arc is we're doing Weapon X and we're going to blow this up and we're going to introduce 1 million more mutants.
Yes.
And they take 2 issues to do what I would say is one of the most decompressed stories that you could ever possibly do.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell this in 1 issue if you wanted to.
You could really cram this thing down. But I actually think that Chuck Austin takes the time and the space to like give you a little bit of insight into this character. And even if it's not like a deep level of insight, you get who this is. This is a great introduction to what people find appealing about Gambit. So here's something that I don't know if you know, Adam. Do you know that Mark Millar was not the first choice to write Ultimate X-Men?
Who was supposed to write it?
Bendis was. So Bendis initially was going to do it.
Okay.
And some of the original scripts are like for the first issue are in some of the back matter for some of the Ultimate Collected editions.
Oh, it got that far. Okay.
Yo, like there were scripts. They were trying to make it work and it just wasn't gelling. To Bendis would say that he didn't feel like he really understood how to write X-Men until he got the book in like the Bendis era of X-Men. Like even his Ultimate run, he has said, yeah, I didn't know how to handle that. Like I didn't have a good grasp on it. But it opens up with Gambit doing street magic.
Yes.
Which is such an interesting thing. Like that was when they were trying to break Ultimate X-Men, they knew Gambit is an interesting, visually compelling, popular character. And we need to do something with him. And Ultimate X-Men, and we'll get to that, especially in the next issue, has too many characters and immediately blows the cast up to a size that is unsustainable.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally by issue 6, the cast is unsustainable, which beautiful. The most X-Men thing that they did that. But they take 2 issues to introduce Gambit because they know they have to do something with Gambit because the folks will demand Gambit. And what they get is this like kind of romantic wandering guy who's kind and cares about kids. And that's about all that we get of Gambit.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing his street magic deal, flirting with a lady, saying he's going to meet her in her hotel room in a couple minutes, and accidentally stumbles into this situation with this little kid who has been orphaned by, who is it? It's Hammerhead.
It's Hammerhead. We know about Hammerhead, right? Do you know?
He hits things with his head. He's got a big flat top hammerhead.
Yeah, that's it. That's his whole deal. He's a mob. He is. Picture a mob guy with a flat head.
Yeah, he's a Dick Tracy character.
That's it. That's it. See?
Yeah. And it's his job to protect this kid until Hammerhead steals the kid back. And then Gambit's got to go rescue her and, get her into some sort of social program so she's not like living off the streets. There's not much to the story, but it really does give us a lot about the values of this character. We get a quick flash of what his growing up was like, and it sounds like
he
grew up in an abusive household. And we also see that, I guess the big difference between 616 Gambit and this, he's not wearing like the flashy, Jim Lee design costume.
Because
he is just kind of in plain clothes, and he's much more willing to blow things up that aren't just the cards, including people's heads.
Well, it's not people's heads. It's specifically Hammerhead's head because he has a metal plate in it so that Gambit can charge that. That's why.
He's
I think that's fun.
Yeah, he's a little bit looser in terms of like, what he's willing to do to get his.
Do you think of original flavor Gambit as someone who is not willing to let someone die? Because I don't think of Gambit as someone. Gambit's not Wolverine where he's going to kill somebody like I am going to do this to kill you. Gambit's just, he doesn't seem like someone who is going to care if there is collateral damage. He's not going to intentionally cause that collateral damage.
Yeah.
But he's not going to, things happen on jobs.
Yeah. But as we're going to see in this episode, he's much more willing to blow lots of things up that are not just like, hey, I'm going to throw some cards. So we get introduced to all of that. I think Ribic does a nice job with the artwork.
I really like it. You get a few Ribic faces.
You do. Little couple of O faces.
Here's what I'll say. That specific stylistic tick is not as obvious when you have conventional comic book line art and coloring versus the more painted style that you get with Ribic in like Secret Wars or Thor God of Thunder and things like that. Like the coloring changes that a bit.
Oh yeah. I didn't realize it was Ribic until I saw a Ribic face and I went, wait a minute.
And then you look back and it's absolutely
it was
younger developing artist still.
Yeah. But I tip my hat to Austin and Ribic because I think this is a really good, just self-sustained story. Is it like the most memorable? Is it the most, incredible thing ever? No, but it is a pretty solid character introduction to this character who's going to be an ongoing addition to this book. So
kind of, it works. He kind of doesn't show up for 40 issues, but
we're going to talk about that too.
Like for multiple changes of writers, he doesn't show up. We will talk about that, but first I think we should probably rank this on our big old list.
Yeah, what is that, Zach?
Great question, Adam. Thank you for leading into it. It's where we're ranking every X-Men story from A to Z, really from best to worst. We've been ranking 1,131 X-Men comics, which is too many, with the best being the House of X Powers of 10. At 275, we have Magic Volume 2. At 550, we have Marvel Voices Pride #1. At 825, we have Defenders 15 and 16. Do you remember what happens in Defenders 15 and 16? Is that when Magneto gets turned into a baby?
Yeah, it might be when he turns into maybe.
I think that's when Magneto gets turned. I was thinking about Magneto getting turned into a baby like 2 days ago.
It's just something that
someone was doing that thing that people online are like, well, you can't use Magneto anymore. He's from the 40s. And I said, brother,
nope.
They fixed that one so long ago in the best way possible. You have no idea how well that has been resolved.
Yeah.
Number 1,100 is All New Exiles versus X-Men. And 1,131 is 29.9 World of Tomorrow, the worst X-Men comic of all time. Hey, this one's not bad. It's not.
I actually think it is probably better than the first appearance of 616 Gambit, which is at 694.
Yeah, I'm looking. Here's where I'm looking. 500 is Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance.
I don't
600
think this is that good.
No, but 600 is X-Men Kingbreaker. And I think this is better than that. Like, I think this is solidly in the 5 hundos.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see.
You're just looking for any words of Gambit, aren't you?
At 503, we have the trial of Gambit, but also the first appearance of Maggot.
Yeah, man. My boy J-Pith is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yeah. I don't think this is better than at 519 Weapon Plus World War IV.
No, it's not. But that's how much of that is because you and me just really like Annihilation.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm good with it. Hey, important comparison. Is this better or worse than Wolverine Volume 3, number 6? That one where Assad Ribic draws Wolverine with a beer bottle.
I think
strategically placed.
I think this is better.
I think it is better. And I'll say the Kubrick covers are pretty good. They aren't as good.
Yeah, we didn't mention the Kubrick cover to 13 where Gambit is silhouetted, but you can still see that he is wearing a Sigur Rós t-shirt, which I think is pretty funny.
Wait, is he really?
Yeah, and then he is also leaning against a streetlight pole that is laced with anti-mutant graffiti. But if you look real close at the bottom, it's obscured by a sticker, but it says "Muty equals duty." And that's funny.
Hey, hold on. Is Ultimate Gambit actually cool and has good taste in music?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what he's wearing.
It's like for 2002, that's a poll.
I don't know that really lines up with... I mean, is it really a poll? I mean, I'm pretty sure Vanilla Sky had come out at that point. So it's not like Sigur Rós was nobody.
I'm not saying nobody. I'm saying it's 2001 here.
Yeah.
Like...
all right. So
they weren't burning up the charts.
I don't know that they ever were, Zach.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you and me, we can make a joke about Godspeed You Black Empire, but that doesn't mean that that's a band people know. That's just a name they know.
Zach, I believe you mean Godspeed You Black Emperor, not Empire.
Whatever. You're right. You're right. Anyway, I will say one other thing about Ultimate Gambit's design. I like his hair. He has like curly. It looks dirty, but in a good way.
He's got like kinky spirals.
This is better than that bar one.
Better than Quarantine?
Yeah, it's better than Quarantine.
Okay.
Probably it's not better than it is not better than Generation X 10 to 11 Death Whale.
That's
Omega
where
Red. That's
Chamber Fights Omega Red. Okay, so
I think it's better than the Holiday one though, right below it.
Then this is going to be our new 556. This is Ultimate X-Men 13 and 14, and as you mentioned, Gambit, is introduced very well here, but doesn't really pop back until this next story. Is it really that long?
It is really until the end of 2004. In Ultimate X-Men 50.
Yeah.
Cry Wolf.
So this arc goes from 50 to 53. It is written by Brian K. Vaughan and has pencils by Andy Kubert, inks by Danny Miki. Yeah. So this is where we really start to get into all those terrible, awful X-Men that I was alluding to earlier.
You're including just mad because there's too many of them.
The worst versions of Nightcrawler, Dazzler.
This is not the... Okay, hold on. Punk Dazzler, I kind of dig.
Dazzler's the worst.
I kind of dig
with
Punk
her
Dazzler.
Stupid high like thong sticking out of her pants and her stupid hair.
It was 2004. Like again, she looks like she should be in a Sum 41 video.
Storm, who's a kid and talks in just regular talk, doesn't talk like Storm.
Storm was Ultimate Storm was broken to begin with. There was no saving her.
Wolverine, who keeps hooking up with children. Stop that, Wolverine. Even
to
though
be fair, in this one, it happens for a half minute, and he's like, "Nope, we're not doing that."
Shouldn't have let it happen. Iceman, who's just super like, incel jealous and can't like figure out his emotions with Rogue and Kitty Pryde. And
look,
oh my God,
these
people are unbearable.
They are all feeling the most feelings.
Sure are.
They are all. Ultimate Cyclops is unbearable and has he looks the worst. I hate Ultimate Cyclops look. With his stupid soul patch. I cannot emphasize enough for people who remember these books. I need you to understand. I also own all of them, and I went out of my way to buy every single trade paperback, so I understand.
Yeah,
I am afflicted.
I know these are special to you.
At this point, not as, or I'd say by 50, not as much. There's a good run of these things right up until actually not too far before Vaughn gets on. Like I think through Bendis's stuff where this does feel like, hey, this is where the X-Men are going to be. Like this is if you watched the movie and then were handed these comics, you got it.
Yeah.
That worked for me. And I can't not divorce that from my feelings about these. I'd say Brian K. Vaughan, Brian K. Vaughan is a writer who is in a incredibly prestigious club of some of the best writers ever who just can't write X-Men to save their life.
No, really can't.
It's him. It's Ed Brubaker, Warren Ellis, for some degrees of that, but generally like good writer, bad dude, good writer, bad at writing X-Men.
So
those are the big three in my mind of bad at writing X-Men, but good at writing other comics.
Yeah. So we've got our Ultimate X-Men team here. They are going to Coney Island to hang out. I do think it's important to note that while Ultimate started with Adam Kubert, this is his brother Andy, who we know from regular 616 X-Men, and it brings a different flavor to the illustration style of the series. Gambit is here specifically for one reason and one reason only. He wants Rogue and is going to abduct her, but he kind of has good reasons, but also very bad reasons.
What Ultimate X-Men does get, and I think this is what is probably the greatest asset of Ultimate Gambit specifically, is it understands Gambit is actually best as a romance character.
No, yeah.
Gambit walks this weird line between the cool character that all the boys want to be and the romance interest. And he's much better as the romance interest. Like every writer who writes Gambit that I like is cutting away from, oh, I'm Gambit, I'm the coolest guy out there. Because they already have that. His name's Wolverine. In Gambit, you're never going to be, when Wolverine's right next to you, you're going to be the second coolest guy on the team. Wolverine, however, horrible love interest. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not appealing to a large demographic of people. Like, I've met so many women who would describe their ideal love interest as what Gambit is, and very few who are saying, I want a 5'1", hairy, angry, violent man
with
who is bad at expressing his emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wolverine's not, you're not going to pine for Wolverine.
No. Though this is an arc that does have Kid Storm wanting to and then kissing Wolverine and trying to get into a relationship with him after having seen him get into relationship with Kid Jean. And Wolverine, for his credit, Brian is like, well, you shouldn't have written that scene to begin with, Brian. But then he was like, no, can't do it. I'm actually old and I made some mistakes. I'm not going to make them again. So whatever. Gambit, on the other hand, is like destroying real estate. He takes out a Ferris wheel. And that's pretty great. I like how he excuses this later by saying, well, I was assured that the X-Men could handle a Ferris wheel falling off, which is pretty funny.
Look, I actually totally buy Gambit in this one.
Oh, yeah.
100% right there.
Yeah. So he is unfortunately working for the ultimate version of, and I would argue they're pretty much exactly the same. It's Fenris.
Fenris, who are less explicitly Nazis,
Mm-hmm.
but still uncomfortable.
Still described as Aryan, jerks.
Like, there's enough vibes that you're like they would be members of the Christmas Adventurers Club.
Yes, very good comparison there.
It's a callback to earlier in the episode when we were talking
like
about
that. I
movie.
liked what you were doing there. Picked up what I was putting down.
I'm thinking about these things. It's fun little Easter eggs for people to come back to, and then for us to describe at length. Continue, please, sir.
Well, and Gambit is thinking altruistically. I think he legitimately believes that Fenris is trying to like help mutants, and
with capitalism, the most helpful thing.
Right, because they have suits that can like help you control your powers. And so
they have Charles Xavier's patented ecstatics I can make you have sex suits.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of the most underrated bits of ecstatics is that they explore how Charles Xavier is kind of weird for making these suits that are definitely heavily implied to be there to allow teenagers to have sex with one another. And I understand that is not what anyone was writing those stories about. However, that is the implications.
Amazing.
So good. I love it so much.
Yeah, but it turns out, as we all guessed, and Gambit finds out, Fenris up to no good. They then sick their, what is it, the Wolf Brigade?
The Wolf Pack.
The Wolf Pack. After Gambit and Rogue, who then are able to escape without much help from the X-Men. And then Rogue decides she's just going with Gambit.
So there's a whole power struggle thing in here with the X-Men. Iceman doesn't want to listen to Cyclops. Wolverine just wants to get Rogue back. Rogue doesn't know what to do. And part of it does feel like Brian K. Vaughan's inherited this team of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 individual characters and said, this is so many.
Yeah.
I have to do something with this. And then just gets rid of them.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that again when we talk about our next story. But this one to me is, it's indicative of the book, but it's not taking as interesting of a big swing.
Here's where the issue comes into play.
Yeah.
It's that Ultimates was designed to be a entry point into a refresh of, hey, here's these characters, here's this world, updated, new, now, different. And that works until the weight of all of the story before it comes crumbling down. And I'd argue that pretty much happens when like Magneto comes back and they do their big we have to stop Magneto thing. The Return of the King stuff.
Yeah.
By that point, you've told a whole story going from the start to finish with a few pieces in between to keep it going. But what is the book after that except for more X-Men?
Yeah.
And that is the folly of the Ultimate line, is that at a certain point, you're just doing the same thing. Heck, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has absolutely fallen into this. It is, you're doing more of this thing, but now there's too much to it. Like my wife, who had seen every movie, is like, I don't know. She's like, I've missed like the last 5. Like, I don't know why I'm watching or what's going on. I don't have any reason. There was a bunch of TV shows apparently. Like, what? It is, the weight of these things can come crushing down on you when you're not just telling a story. And, say what you will about the current Ultimate run. They went in, they're telling a story. and they're getting out. I have to respect that because I like beginnings, middles, and ends.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good place. It is my fear of the absolute line that they are having a really killer beginning. And it seems like they're going to have a pretty solid middle. But then are they going to actually give it an end? I don't know.
And there's a version of this where it can keep working, but at least with this particular book, the reiteration seems a little too bland to really feel that different from original recipe to make it interesting. Like you're not going to catch a lot of new readers by saying that, Rogue and Gambit get together by fighting Fenris. That's just not that exciting.
It's not. There's nothing. At a certain point, you have to ask, and Marvel had to ask, why are we not telling this story in the regular X-Men book?
Yeah. And
I think that's a really fair question.
I would say that, where this book goes in its later iterations, like it's much crazier and insane than what we're seeing here.
But that was very explicitly after another 50 issues of treading water like this.
Yeah.
That was them saying none of these books, with the exception of Brian's, because he's just, from the start, he was just doing a Spider-Man book that was good.
Yeah.
None of these books are like need to exist. So why do we keep them around? Because sales are half decent?
Probably.
Like that's the reason. That's why Ultimatum happens, for better or worse, generally worse. But so many interesting ideas when they say, never mind, the pitch of this world is that we've gone deep into what if territory.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to do stories that we couldn't do or won't do in the traditional Marvel universe.
So Ultimatum is all the way down at 1122. I don't think we're that
better
bad.
than Ultimatum. This is so much better than Ultimatum.
How about this? At 908, we have the Robert Kirkman Ultimate X-Men arc about Cable. 75
this is better than the Cable one.
I think this is better than that as well. So, but I don't think this is as good as at 794, Ultimate Comics X-Men 13 to 18, Divided We Fall, United We Stand.
That is the Civil War.
Yes. I think that's playing with more interesting ideas.
What was that at? That is at
794. So I think we're probably in the 800s.
How do you feel about it compared to Cataclysm Ultimate X-Men?
Where's that?
That's at 747. That is the last Ultimate X-Men story that exists. That's when Galactus comes to the Ultimate Universe.
Oh yeah. See, I wouldn't even go that high because I don't think this is as good as 794.
Well, at 800 we have the X-Men versus the Brood, where the Brood Queen will go to heaven.
Yeah,
is the implication. Man,
I think that's better.
Do you think anyone except for me remembers that?
I had kind of forgotten until right this second. Then I was like, oh yeah, that is what that is about.
Man, Chris Claremont was on so many painkillers when he was having that conversation. The man did get wheeled. Again, this is inside baseball for a show that me and one other person went to. It's so unimportant. You're right. This is worse. This is probably better than the Family Ties unpublished inventory issue.
Yeah, I would say so. But I don't think it's as good as 810 supervillain team up and Champion 16, which is Doom versus Magneto. I think that's more fun.
This is better than Marvel 2-in-1 76. The Thing and Iceman go to the circus.
Yeah,
but I don't think this is as good as Deadpool Max Peru.
Okay, so this is our new 812. This is Cry Wolf from Ultimate X-Men number 50 to 53, and wouldn't you know it, we do get a follow-up on what happens to Rogue and Gambit after
this. Year later.
Yeah, it takes a while, but we get the Ultimate X-Men Annual number 1 with an absolutely beautiful cover from Stuart Immonen.
It's a good cover.
With Gambit throwing his cards at the viewer while Rogue is over his shoulder at the card table. And
Speaking of Gambit and cards, can I make one comment about the first story we talked about today?
Oh, Zach, it's your show.
It's our show. Assad Ribic doesn't know how Solitaire works. Assad Ribic draws Gambit playing Solitaire and absolutely does not know the rules of Solitaire. I was looking at it because I was like, I've played as much Solitaire as your average person with access to a computer in the 90s has.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm looking at that, I'm like, Gambit, that's not how Solitaire works, buddy. You're doing it. That's why you're losing. You're doing it wrong.
Oh boy. Poor guy.
Continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, this is also written by Brian K. Vaughan. It is penciled by Tom Rainey, inks by Scott Hanna. I like what Rainey's putting down here. I think it's
I think Rainey is too conventional of a comics artist for what I expect from the Ultimate books.
I guess. I mean, you've got the Kuberts here, so it's not exactly like
you do, but I feel like the Kuberts are very specifically drawing, like they are pushing themselves to stuff that they wouldn't necessarily do in other books of the time.
Yeah.
To the fact that like Tom Rainey was like a good hand at Marvel.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like getting. I want to come up with a name, but honestly, I don't know. Who's one of the guys that copies Pepe Larraz at Marvel? We don't have to name names, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure. But I
one of those. It's like getting one of those guys.
I will give Rainey a lot of credit because Rainey does have like his own visual style that a lot of the other contemporaries of his times in the 90s, like what he was doing with Warlock, and some of the other stuff. I think he did some Silver Surfer. Like he does have a pretty. I don't think it's on display as much in this issue. Because you're right, it is much more of a house style.
I don't have anything against Tom Rainey in general. It's just I think of him as a good hand, you know?
That can be a compliment. That's fine. But we get a little interlude with the X-Men in the Danger Room, which really isn't that exciting. But the bulk of this issue is Gambit and Rogue in Vegas when they encounter a Brotherhood character from Rogue's past, and it is Ultimate Juggernaut.
From Rogue's past, are you talking about from when Rogue was a member of Weapon X?
Is that what it is? It's not the Brotherhood. What is it?
Weapon X, brother. You have got to you got to go back in time and
so long.
You got to go back in time and be 10 years old or 11 years old and read these comics because you'll think about Weapon X Juggernaut and all of the Weapon X characters that appear in that. I was thinking about Weapon X Sabretooth from that comic. You know what he looks like, right?
Yes.
He looks like Sabretooth, but he has a bunch of Wolverine claws that come out of his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Lady Deathstrike, like they still come out of the Wolverine claw places, but one on every finger instead of in between the knuckles. So
yeah,
what he looks like is what he looks like Romulus, actually.
Yeah. Well, I will say Ultimate Juggernaut looks very dumb.
Bondage suit.
Yeah,
pretty much suit. Oh, it's so good, actually.
Yeah, he's got the crisscrossing suspenders leading up to this giant helmet that is basically kind of like a cone. Like it goes up into a point. He kind of looks like Triangle Head from Silent Hill, but you know, he's still got the gigantic body.
It's Pyramid Head.
You know what I mean? That guy. That thing.
I'm not a Silent Hill freak, but the Silent Hill freaks will be mad at you.
They will be mad at me, yes.
Like that's not my calling. I was a Metal Gear child. Because you needed a PlayStation and PlayStation 2 game that you watched and played when you were too young to understand it.
Sure.
Mine was Metal Gear. It was not Silent Hill.
Yeah, I loved Silent Hill, and I feel bad because I was actually watching a couple of minutes of the Return to Silent Hill before we started recording this.
I've heard that's bad.
Oh, it's terrible, but Pyramid Head is in it. Okay. So
anyway, he looks like Pyramid Head, except for that it's not jutting out of his body in any way, shape, or form. It's just like a point.
Yeah, he's got like
it's an executioner's hood is what it's going for.
That's a good comparison. It's all black, and the reason that Rogue and Gambit are in Vegas is to steal from Fenris's bank or storage
something
the gem of Sidorak, and
which is just like a ruby.
Yes.
It
Yes.
doesn't instill the magic powers of the Juggernaut upon you.
It doesn't not do that, because at one point Gambit charges it and stabs Juggernaut with it, and it does give Juggernaut more power. But I don't know if that's from charging it or if it's from the gem.
I read it as charging it, but
okay. I don't know what Juggernaut's powers are here.
I would say charitably that your read is probably also accurate, and Brian K. Vaughan was intentionally keeping it vague as to not overcomplicate Ultimate Juggernaut any further than they had previously done.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway, because Juggernaut's about to die. And unfortunately, so is Gambit after, 3 appearances?
They get in a fight, and Brian K. Vaughan's like, look, we don't have room for Ultimate Gambit. You know this.
Too many characters.
Here's what I think is interesting, because in all of this, it is seeded that he's working for Nathaniel X6.
Yes.
A character that Brian K. Vaughan was using in Ultimate. Brian K. Vaughan famously wrote Stairs.
Yes. Yeah, it's implied that Gambit is in some way connected to Essex and is protected because of that. But that never really comes to fruition. Anyway, the story ends with Gambit charging an entire I guess like skyscraper that's under construction and collapses it onto himself and the Juggernaut, which if it was 616 Juggernaut would still just get up and walk away. But in this case, both of them die.
Yeah, it rules. Here's the thing.
Does it? I don't know. Why does he have to do that? Why does he have to do it?
Because he has to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, that is the name of the story. Yes.
Yes. And here's the thing. If Gambit, as I am presuming, best form is love interest.
Yes.
Then Rogue, who is going to be an ongoing character and is a better X-Men character individually than Gambit, is better served with tragic lost love who died heroically, as has been proven by the good episode of that X-Men cartoon.
I do appreciate the wrinkle of the conclusion of this, which is that because Rogue touches Gambit at the moment of his death, she now has Gambit powers. At least that's the implication of the end of this issue, because she has the red eyes and can charge a card.
And that is what ends up happening. And you know what? God bless the Chris Claremont X-Men Forever ass mind of Brian K. Vaughan, because he's just saying, whatever, we're gonna do something with this. I gotta find some way to make these X-Men interesting.
Yeah,
and I think that's a perfectly fine one.
Yeah,
I think they could do something with this. I don't think they end up doing something with it in all reality, but they could. I think
it's much better than
jumps on the book pretty soon and kind of writes that out.
Yeah, it's much better than the X-Men Forever deal where Nightcrawler and Rogue switch powers. I don't like that as much as this. Rogue having Gambit's powers is much funner.
Yeah, no, I see the vision. I see the vision here.
Yes.
Again, not the sad robot, but I see what they're going for.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is a perfectly fine, however, fine issue. I think it is indicative of the fact that they really felt like they had to use Gambit, but they had no story or anything with him.
Yeah.
And then kind of fell backwards into a half decent arc for Gambit.
It's just strange that they used 2 issues in the right after the first 2 arcs to give him such an introduction and then don't really do anything with him. He's just kind of here and he has these 2 misadventures and then he's gone forever. So, it's an interesting version of the character. I don't know that it's, like I said earlier, that it's that different, but he does get this very heroic moment and lives on in the powers of Rogue.
And in all of our hearts.
Aw. Is this I
think it's between the 2 stories.
It's between the 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tweener.
Yeah. It's definitely not as good as the first one.
What's at 750 right now? At 750 is 5 Lights from Uncanny X-Men.
I don't think this is that good.
You think of 5 Lights is good? That's an interesting.
Well, I mean, this is a list. You know, it's certainly not as good as at 737 Firestar.
Yes. Here's the thing: at 753 is Ultimate Comics X-Men 1 through 12, the Nick Spencer stuff, and this is better than that.
Yeah. Would you put it ahead of book 3 of Stanley Presents X-Men The End book 3 Men and X-Men?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely tried your best to get that through, but you're not a one take champion like I am on Stanley Presents X-Men The End book 3 Men and X-Men.
Are you suggesting I had to take a breath while I said that? I thought I did it okay.
I'm suggesting you got a few of those mixed up, and that's fine. Go back.
I'm just reading
Adam,
what's on the spreadsheet.
Here's what you're going to do. You're going to edit this episode.
Yeah.
And then you're going to listen back to this exact moment right here. This is me from the past talking to you in the present.
Okay, I'm listening.
And then you're going to rewind it, and then you're going to damn it, I did get it wrong. And Zach's right here.
Well, what did I do? I just read what was in the box.
You said book 3 first.
I did say
you
that.
You doubled up on book 3.
Okay,
you did a double book 3.
That's true. All right, I'll give you that. All right, so you're saying
you can't double book 3. It is the thing.
All right, yeah, no, that's true. There's only one.
Well, there's 3.
There's only one book 3.
You can single, you can triple, you can't double book 3.
There's only you can only get book 3.
This is probably
once with Timmy Chalamet. Is this better or worse than Emperor Vulcan at 751?
Yeah, it's better than Emperor Vulcan.
All right. I don't know. Maybe it is better than the 5 Lights. I don't know.
I kind of think it's better than the 5 Lights. Adam, I think you're forgetting. You're thinking
5
the 5
Lights
Lights
isn't good.
Yeah, I think you're forgetting the 5 Lights is an absolute mess.
Yeah.
With Mark Silvestri not giving his best.
All right. It is definitely not better than 744 Dazzler 2728 Vendetta. That is definitely better than this.
Fine. This is better than the time that Havoc and Thor fought the Living Monolith, though.
Yeah.
So this can be 745 now.
Great. Our new 745 is Ultimate X-Men Annual Number 1. And folks, that is the beginning, the middle, and the end. Books 1, 2, and 3 of Ultimate Gambit.
Really is the ultimate story on Ultimate Gambit. Hey, Ultimate Gambit, pretty half decent actually. I'm a Ultimate Gambit fan bit. I don't know.
That's great.
The ultimate fans. Hey, there's a new Ultimate Gambit. I think he's dead though.
Oh.
He was alive for a little bit. He had I think he had an eye patch.
Cool.
He was Russian.
Sounds about right. Was that Ultimate Wolverine from Chris Condon?
Yeah. I'm reading all of those books on the app.
Nice.
On the app, they are all perfectly serviceable books. I love Peach Momoko's art, and I'm sure that when I read all 20-some issues in a row, the story will capture me. I think the characters are truly entertaining, and I think the art is beautiful, and I am not reading close enough, or I am not reading close enough or in close enough increments of one issue to another to have a strong opinion on the story itself.
That's totally fair. I've read it kind of here and there. And I've enjoyed what I've read.
It feels like one you just got to sit down and just like chunk through, and then it's going to come out as like, oh, this is fantastic in one sitting. But in individual chunks, it's less. Did you
see, and I know you're a fan of this gentleman, so I don't know if you have seen the new anthology series that Peach is doing with a variety of different really talented artists, including Stan Sakai, about Sai from Demon Wars.
I've heard of that. I have not read it. Wait, Stan Sakai?
Stan Sakai does a Peach Momoko story.
Wait, a story about Peach Momoko? Or...
No, it's a story featuring Sai from Demon Wars.
Sai is Psylocke, right? It's Demon War Psylocke? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Sai Dimensional Rivals. And it essentially is...
when it hits the app, I will absolutely read the heck out of it.
Yeah, I just think you would get a kick out of that because it's it's your guy.
Adam, I do appreciate you letting me know all the latest and greatest things that are going on in Stan Sakai's world. And I love that Stan Sakai currently has a merchandising engine behind him that is making him what I have to assume is a good amount of money while he enters retirement. There's going to be Stan Sakai Magic the Gathering cards, and that's weird to me.
They're making Magic cards about everything, man. We might be on a Magic card. I don't know. They're just.
But hold on. I would argue that Asagi Yojimbo is like a Sigur Rós level of IP for Magic the Gathering. Like I feel like they're on the same plane. You know,
I'm saying they're pulling from some wild places.
I guess Asagi Yojimbo does have the Turtles connection, and that's
yes.
Say what you will about the Turtles, guys, and I don't think many people say bad things about them, to be fair.
No, they're really great.
They've never let Stan Sakai down. They've always been like, Stan? They're like, yeah, our stuff is a goof. Have you met this guy?
Yeah.
He's good. He's the best. Oh, love that for them.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Do you know what else I love?
What do you love?
I love our fantastic Patreon supporters like Michael Dunphy. If you want to be like Michael, you can go to patreon.com/BattleTheAtom. At the $5 a month level, we will design an entire podcast episode based around one of your beautiful, beautiful suggestions. And you know what, folks? We got some great suggestions that people have made recently, and we're more than happy to keep those running. Adam, what do you got going on?
I don't have anything going on individually, but I do want to.
What do you have going on collectively? What do all of the Adams in the multiverse have going
on? I want to hype my one and only Anna Papard's new piece over on Comics XF, which is talking about the recent trend of Marvel doing retro costumes for characters like Captain Marvel, Rogue, Psylocke, and White Queen, etc. It is a fantastic article. I saw a lot of people reading it today when it came out. So if you have not seen that, head over to Comics XF and check that out. Zach, what are we doing next week?
Next week we got a Matsuda-sode.
A Matsuda-sode.
It's a Matsuda-sode. I think we're about to enter the Matsuda-sense with our Matsuda-sode. And I cannot wait. Until then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!